As human beings, we all have something in common. We all have parents. One way or another, two people bring us into this world. And as children, I think what we all have in common is that, consciously or not, we're always looking to make our parents proud. And my relationship with my parents have gotten a lot better. From childhood to adulthood, we yearn for our parents' approval. Maybe it's not your parents, maybe it's your aunt, your sibling, friend or boss, whatever the case may be. It's a human thing to want, to be seen, to be acknowledged and appreciated. Let me ask you this, if the world ended tomorrow, so today was your last day, would you be happy with the life that you've lived? For 30 years, Steve Jobs reminded himself of the following question. If today were my last day, right? Would I want to be doing what I'm about to do today? It's important to remember that you can, or rather you should, isolate yourself from other people's expectations. Detach yourself from other people's thinking. Live like you won't have regrets on your last day. But is that possible if you let the desire of approval influence how you live your life? Today, I'm going to be sharing my journey on how I let go of my parents' approval. But first, some background. I grew up with Asian parents, and some of you might think, hang on, isn't your dad French? Yes, my dad is French, but he came to Hong Kong when he was 23, okay? So pretty much the only French thing left about him is he doesn't eat chicken feet. What I'm trying to say is my parents are both really quite reserved, quite Asian-style parenting in the sense that they're not vocal about their feelings, they're really strict with me, and there have been times where it's difficult to communicate with them. I should add that my parents are in the audience today, so let me just say quickly, they were also very giving and selfless and amazing. Hey guys. So, by a show of hands, how many of you considered taking a major only because your parents wanted you to? Okay, I see some hands. My mom wanted me to become, it's not going to be a surprise there, a doctor or a lawyer. It's always a doctor or a lawyer, and I thought it only had to do with money and status. Like, my daughter goes to Harvard. Oh yeah? My daughter, wait for it, is a doctor. Bam! Game over for all the Asian aunties. Be a doctor or a lawyer, that's what I was always told. But if anyone really paid attention, I had no affinity towards these careers, and most importantly, no interest. Instead, I wanted to sing, I wanted to perform in public, do public speaking. But as I grew older, I realized that my parents just wanted the best for me. Having a professional career, it would mean a steady income. And that usually means a more comfortable lifestyle, something they didn't have at the beginning working in business. Even so, growing up with this indisputable expectation of me to become successful, it wasn't easy. It even started to make me feel ashamed that my interests were subpar and what I wanted to do would never be good enough. So my inner voice and my dreams drowned out, and the opinions of others became louder. Some of you might know how this story ends. I couldn't exactly contain my personality and my creativity. It had to come out in some way. So while I was majoring in translation and interpretation, I was actually doing law translation, so not too far from being a lawyer, if I were lying. But I thought, it's not horrible to, not a big deal if I made videos and post them online. At the time, I kind of made videos already on my Snapchat stories. I would do little skits and tell stories. Basically, I was a really annoying Snapchat friend to have. I thought, okay, I'm going to stop bugging my 30 Snapchat friends and move my ideas somewhere else. and that was YouTube. Putting yourself out there, it's scary. It's scary to be on camera. It's scary to be yourself on camera. It's scary to work on something for days and weeks, not knowing if anyone would like it at all. But for me, nothing compared to the fear of my parents finding out. For my parents to give just one look, for me to have wished I never should have tried at all. 2 years later, I'm still here making videos, and I was able to get some distance between me and my parents because I moved out, and it made me see a lot of things from a different perspective. While I will always want approval from my parents and for them to say they're proud of me, I've learned that I don't have to depend on that I can still feel worthy, that I am still worthy, even if they don't say exactly what I want to hear. And it's not easy or quick to let go of other people's expectations, but once you do, your mind becomes more clear. It feels free to explore all the possibilities, more willing to take on challenges. You become less afraid of the consequences when you're no longer living for other people. Recently, I was even able to do something that I never thought I could, or even if I could, I expected instant rejection from. And that's asking my parents to make videos with me. I got so much anxiety leading up to that question. I mean, my stomach would act up every time I thought about it. And I don't think it's so much about the question, but more so what it embodied. Being part of my work would mean that there's support, that there's a way for us to talk about what I do, and ultimately that I can let go of the hidden shame that I never became a doctor or a lawyer. Because supporting me would be their loudest way to say, I'm proud of you. Here's a few things I learned in my journey of letting go of other people's expectations. First, you've got to take control of your mind. Be conscious to make differentiations between doing something for someone else and doing it for yourself. You will feel the contrast when your mind is charged with motivation and not heavy with anxiety. The truth is, you could be used to your parents making decisions for you your whole life, creating an unbalanced power dynamic that you never knew existed at all, or you don't know how to get out of. It's one thing to take advice from people you respect, but another to revolve your life decisions around their desires. So ask yourself, how can you unchain your mind, and what will you gain from it? Then, this is a difficult one, you've got to model the behavior that you see. Or more suitably in this case, treat people the way you want to be treated. And it is absolutely not easy. Not because you're a nasty person or you want to be unpleasant, but when the relationship you have with someone, it's already so rigid and so unyielding, the kind of relationship that makes you feel like, I don't know, when you talk to them, it's like, you say you've got an egg, and you throw at them, trusting them to catch the egg, but they're not even there. It's just a wall. They're a concrete wall that shatters your egg. It makes you go into self-defense mode. Every time you talk to that person, you want to protect your feelings, so you shut off. You become hostile, whether you know it or not. You become that wall to the other person. A barrier against another barrier. It's a very damaging, never-ending vicious cycle. So So here's what I've learned. You've got to make an effort to change your tone. Take a deep breath, pause before each sentence, smile more. You will slowly but surely see the other person start to let their guard down, and hopefully starting to match your tone. And it's like a mirror effect. You know, people are more open to listen to you if you're more welcoming in your voice. And it's challenging because it takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of patience. I mean, change doesn't happen right away, just like with most things. So, take control of your mind. You got to speak the way you want to be spoken to, and deep breaths. So, ever since then, my relationship with my parents have gotten a lot better. The terrifying question I had with my parents, they said yes. Remember I said I expected instant rejection? Well, instead, they were like, when do you want to get started and what kind of ideas do you have? Almost like they were waiting for me to ask the question. Do you see how much my mind played me? I had become that wall that I was afraid of. I guess we both became walls, just fighting against each other with all these broken eggs in between. Okay, I've gone too far with my analogy. My parents don't say they're proud of me. And that's okay. Their love is not showing, is not saying, I love you, but doing all the things that say it louder. As human beings, we all have something in common. We are all capable of achieving great things. Ignore the doubting voices, be you, and don't wait.